All right, so Derrick, tell us about you.
Okay, I would like to take this precious opportunity in the first place to appreciate God for the opportunity given unto me. I'm someone from Arua. I'm a Ugandan, but a resident in Yauluko. I grew in a family where people doesn't have any idea about God. But my entire life was nurtured in the family of a reverend, because that reverend was my grandfather. He's a father to my mother.
Okay.
So I grew together with him there in the place of pastoring. So during my time of growing, I was not all that bad. And then I was also growing in determination. I had also ambitions, goals to achieve while growing together with my grandfather. Because when I was very little, my grandfather could sit us just like us we have sat and teach us with the songs. And then sometimes we practice these songs, we sing, and then he feel actually very pleased of us. And he was like, Professor and Derrick, do you know what? You are going to be a reverend. You are going to replace me. And sometimes we do, but sometimes make comedy.
Yeah.
And sometimes he will put his rope on me. And plus those gadgets, let me just say the items that they are putting on. All those things, even his cap there, that you are reverend, you are a future reverend. So I could feel very pleased because being a reverend is actually something to be honored. And I was growing with that mentality. Reaching at the age of 14, now that was now when my father was transferred from his place of teaching here in Arua to the other side of Vora. Now we went there. I went there to start my P5 up to P7. I finished there in Logri, that other side, and I came for my senior 1 here, O level in the other side of Arua. Otherwise, my life was really good. I was not spoiled, and even when I reached senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, even when I finished senior 4, there was nothing bad with me, because that reverential fear of God was in me. I was taught properly, but in a religious way, very blind. And when I was now in senior 4, things were becoming very hard, because my father, who was a teacher, he was someone who doesn't even care. He doesn't bother. He did not pay us to school. So we are the ones struggling in paying our school fees, because me, I'm a farmer. Sometimes I go together and I dig, and then after the manual work, I'll come back home and then also just go like that. I used to operate as a day scholar. And then I finished senior 4, but still with some areas, some deals were there. And I finished it. Things were hard. My uncle, rather one of my uncle, called me, Derrick, to go and work in a Diofe. He opened a very big depot in a Diofe, that side of a Diofe. So I went there. I went there in 2015 because I finished my senior 4 in 2014. I went there 2015. Soon as just I went there, my life actually changed. From living a religious life now to worldly life, because I was introduced to money. So, and I began to encounter ladies, ladies. See, I was after ladies. And when I joined that very work, I really became just immoral. Sexually, just immoral. Just a moral passion. 2 years was just enough for me to spoil myself. I got totally spoiled within 2 years. That is in 2015 and then 2016. So that uncle of mine, when I was there, he called me that, Derrick, you go and work with him, and then after you are done with the work, then you can go back with your money to do what you want to do. Because the ambition that I had already talked about, my goal that I had already talked about, was to be a teacher, not in a theological school, in a primary. Or else, if that one fails, the second option was to be a soldier. To be a soldier. That was the only thing, though even my grandfather prophesied me to be a reverend, that thing was not there when I grew up now. Because life that I really grew in was a difficult, terrible life of regret. So why I developed that attitude of becoming as a soldier was because of my father. My father was, I put my father just at the forefront, and my target was, if I joined the military, the first person I must begin to shoot must be my father. So that was my plan. I want to do away with my father.
You were gonna shoot your father.
Yeah, that was my plan. I want to begin with him. My first enemy was my father because he ruined our future. So he's useless to be in existence. So that was the first thing. But when now I was taking the other side of Ethiopia to go and work there, I worked. And also now, I was having this plan of coming back now to join PTC, where primary teachers are taught. So when I was now planning to come in 2016, this uncle of mine said, Derrick, do you know what? The money that you had already worked for, I'm not going to pay. Because you incurred some losses here in my business. So I want you to repay my debts. And then those things, I don't know how we recorded it. Things were just hard. And I was looking for a way how he can confiscate my money. And surely he confiscated it. So I decided to leave his place, the place of job. I left that very place. But before I even left that very place, because I was, and then talking about my life in Ethiopia, the workplace there. So that since I was introduced by my uncle to money, and then all the ladies there in Ethiopia became my girlfriends. So I choose like 6 of them among the many. There were of course by then too many. So I chose like 6. My plan was to marry this one just at a go. So all of them, that was my plan. Because all of them, they all look very beautiful because that worldly mind was there in me. So what I did was to impregnate them all. I impregnated them. Now when I impregnated this very lady, my conscience was telling me, Derrick, now see what you have done. You have impregnated these innocent ladies here. You have nothing. Even you are changed already at the workplace. Now what are you going to do? These people, they need care. What are you going to use to care for these guys, these ladies here? So something just ranked in my mind, Derrick. You better withdraw some money from your mobile money account, go to town and buy some medicine for abortion. And that thing ranked in my mind. I took Boda to town. And then since those nurses were also after money, they gave me the medicine. I was given that tablet, and then I brought, because they instructed me well with the prescription of the drug. I was my own doctor who did all those things. I inserted it, and also I inserted other things also in the private part, and then it reached at a moment that blood there came out. Already that lady was 1 month, no, 2 months. Now that one, we aborted it. I cannot call it abortion now. That is a mother. So I killed that very baby. I began to convince them one by one. Those 5, the mission was done. I removed those babies all. So I came back home, and the other one was waiting me almost at home. So when I came there, the lady was like, now, Derrick, I am not going because I have your baby inside in me. Now, unless you chase me, I will not go. now what I decided, I convinced her, I gave her some money, and then I told her, let us try to sit down and we just understand ourselves. No, this thing is not by force. So what I did was I convinced her, and he came to my side, and also now he stayed there in my room. And when he stayed there, and I sent a border to go and buy for me that tablet. So the border came also on time, and I also did those things. And the unfortunate part was that lady was about to die in my room, in the house there. The blood was too much. The blood was flowing too much. So things were just very hard. So just to cut it very short, we removed that very baby also. Meaning in total 6 babies I killed. All of them died just there. Now when I was now I began staying there at home there, I said, Derrick, your life is very sad and miserable. The only thing you could do right now is your life is useless, because now the devil isolated me, and then he was speaking to my conscience with a high voice that your life is now useless. You see, the work you have already done, your money is not paid, and then what is the purpose of your existence here? You better go and buy a medicine in Shallow. You commit suicide, die away. That thing was just ringing in my mind. My sound was full of noise. Rather, my mind was full of noise. So, just from nowhere, my brother came and got me just stranded, and told me, Derrick, you are not in your right mood. What is happening? And I began to narrate also the story. And he advised me and counseled me. So, at night, by then I was now left in my account only with 50,000 now. Out of 600,000 in my account, I used those things for abortion. And then I was left only with 50,000 now. So when I was just sleeping, something was just speaking to my soul, Derrick, your life is at danger. Actually, life is really in danger. If you don't do something, you will perish. So what I did was, out of that very voice I had, we withdraw 50,000. You deduct we withdraw only 25,000. Go and buy Lubara Bible. I went to town and I bought that Bible, and then the first scripture that I opened was John chapter 3:16. And then John chapter 3:16, when I was now reading it through, and then something was speaking to my heart that, Derrick, you have wronged God already. You are already a murderer. And then you don't have any place. You don't have any place even completely to rescue yourself. So, as if it was God speaking, I think by then it was God. So it reached also, that was in the morning when I was reading like that now. It reached in the afternoon time when I went to the market to go and do some shopping. So I got evangelist preaching John chapter 3:16. So that was now when I gave my life to Jesus Christ. But when I gave my life to Jesus Christ, I was not assured. I even don't know where I was going, because I was having a religious mind. My mind was completely dark. But I was a prayerful person like Cornelius. A prayerful person. When I joined this very school in 2018, how I joined it was through during the mission of Dadria, when Dadria was a mission coordinator in Power One. He was dealing with the MET. This is a mobile evangelistic team. They had a trip to Moyo in Gopi. That was in 2017 now. And we went there, and then we did that very ministry well, because by then I was already saved. I was preaching, but not with understanding. So we came on our way coming back. We came up to here on this very compound, but me, I was not having any idea whether this one was a Bible study, rather a Bible center, place for maybe teaching Bible. No. We came here and went up to that very house to urinate there, and we got guys inside that very room with the dormitory of the boys there. So I did not ask anything. So we went back to Arua, and we started also staying. And then, fortunately enough, this school of Baptist here, Ebenezer, of course, it is a school under this very school of ours, founded by our school. So they were also looking for a teacher to teach biology. So good enough, my sister Lillian finished his university, rather his senior six, rather her senior six, and then he was also stranded. He was also desperate of work. She wanted to work, but there was no job. So I had that information. They leaked that information from the office there in Power One Arua, and then I told Lillian, these people are looking for a teacher. You better come. I was not having any idea whether there was a Bible school here. We came up to the compound here, but that thing was not there. Me, I thought these were just a place of refuge.
So you came right over here?
We came up to here.
Like 100 meters from the school.
Yeah.
And you didn't know this was...
I didn't know, even on the compound here.
He was in the school here.
On the
So
compound.
he only went there to urinate.
In that very shelter, it is still there.
Oh, this one. This
Yeah,
one.
this
Yes.
one here.
Okay,
The one.
before we had the fence, you just right
Yeah,
there. Okay.
yeah. Well, I just entered because even we came
And
with
the
the
truck
Power
was-
One's truck.
Oh, okay.
The truck was parked on the compound. Then we were dropped, went down there just to ease ourselves, and then we came back and then went straight to Arua, and then they leaked the information that there is a vacancy for teachers in Ebenezer Baptist School, secondary school. So I told Lillian. Lillian also replied quickly. And then Lillian wrote an application. And then it was taken, luckily enough, she was taken. I think that was just God connecting, doing things. And when she came, and then I told her, fine, it's okay. Safe journey to BDBD. Now for us, we are going to Goli. For that is for prayers. We are going for prayers in Goli. So we went there, and then the person that I went with was a certain woman. She's working in USA, and this mama said God spoke to her in her heart that, Derrick, you need to go to Anglican Theological School. And then I replied. I told her, okay, it's okay. I'm ready to go to Anglican Theological School. And then when we came back home, we came and we stayed there let me say I stayed there for 2 days, and then she called me back and told me, Derrick, this is why I have called you for. I have called you so that I can release you 7,020,000 to go to school. So that mama gave me 7,020,000 to go to Anglican school, theological school there in Ringli. So I went with that money. I put that money in my bag. I went with the money. I stayed with the money there the whole night, but my heart was not my heart was not at peace. I was restless over the night. And then something told me in my heart, Derrick, take this money back to Mama and tell Mama your time has not yet reached. I took this money back to Mama, and then that mom of mine, actually she received her money back. I told her, I don't think I have received the call of being as a pastor, reverend, and school in Iringiri. Please, I don't want to eat this money. Have it back. She received the money back. And then I only stayed for 2 days. Now, this sister of mine, whom I had already connected with Baptist here, called me Derrick. There's the local school in BTBD. And I don't know whether you will come. I did not hesitate. I did not delay for long, and I just only respond. I replied. And then I told her, when is the intake? And when are students coming reporting? And told me students are reporting next Monday like that. So she said, our principal, by then it was Owili Moses, is going to Arua and is going with application form. Please, you fill those forms and send those forms to as well. Take the form back to him, and he will bring back. And by then, our criteria, our method of recruitment was a bit hard. You need to undergo an interview, a serious, intense interview. So Willie just saw me like this. I think he confirmed me my call. Saw me like this. He said, Derrick, there is nothing for me to interview in you here. Just go home and prepare your things. Come to school. I came in 2018. Now that was now when I joined this very school.
Mm-hmm.
My being in this very school is by grace.
Mm.
I don't deserve to be on this very compound. But I also came to understood later God was trying to bring the other thing in a different way, because my target was to hold the gun, and they decided to give me Bible this time.
Mm.
Now my plan was to be in the classroom teaching primary, and this time also teaching certificate class in theology. So it is hard for me to understand, because I don't deserve even to be here on this very compound. So all those other doors were shut for me. And now, when we started in 18 to 18, and we finished well. I thank these teachers so much, because even when we were there, because they were not having a mind of opening a diploma, we are pioneers. We are the first people who started the diploma here.
How did you feel when you got saved with your father?
With my father.
How is
Which
your
one?
relationship
The one you want to
with
shoot.
him now? The one you want to gun down?
When I joined this very school, after I joined this school, and right after I was done with my certificate, because we had a very serious hatred between ourselves. And then, soon as I joined this very school, and I was assured of my salvation, I came to know my identity in Christ. And then, after I'd already known my identity in Christ, I was also in a position now to say that, Derrick, it is not good for you to keep your father in your heart. So I went back and I forgave him. So we reconciled back. We reconciled. So this time,
Did you talk with him?
I talked to him. Otherwise, he was actually not even all that willing. But when I told him my testimony, my father, do you know what? You are the first target to be destroyed. But thank God I have forgiven you now today. So he breathed a deep breath, that knowing that he was actually almost dead, living even in a realm of death. But I was going to do that one. But thank God, when I was done with my certificate, I went back, I forgave him. We got reconciled. And even gave me a Bible, that Derrick, I have nothing to do for you. Please have this very Bible. Continue with what you are doing. We have now, this time we are in a serious relationship. There is nothing like hatred between ourselves. Even if he is in need of help from me, I do give, I do assist him, because that should be the character of a Christian. So my coming now into this system, after the completion of now my diploma this year, because we got graduated in March, and by then we have already been appointed by our principal, let me say, by our faculty members. So they appointed us, they took us and said, come and join us. So I was so much pleased to join them, but not really mindful that this is the call of God. So I came to realize later, when we are, even now, this is my second time to teach in this very school. So I came to realize God was not really allowing me just like to go and maybe to invest my life anyhow outside of there. He wanted me to invest my life into the life of these very fellow brothers of mine here in this very school. So I think that is what I have as per now.
But where those girls with whom you killed the man and the babies, and what do they say when they meet you?
In these 6 ladies that they aborted the babies or killed these babies, thank God I met them one by one. I met the other one in 2018, the other one in 2019. I think it was just God's plan also. But I met the other one just this year, but January. Now, when I was now trying, now that was difficult to think. The 5th one forgave me. And now the 5th one the 6th one who was about to die in my room, told me, Derrick, I will not even forgive you till I go to heaven, till I leave this very tent. So I told her, I did bad, please. That was just the influence of the devil. I did it under the influence of the devil. Oh, devil, please forgive me. So these are actually the 5 in numbers. They forgave me, but the other one refused to forgive me up to date. And what I'm doing as per now is just only to pray for her now, so that God can convict her to forgive me. But otherwise, in my heart, I have nothing.
Did they knew each other that you did all this to them?
Of course, I was a confuser.
All of them are aware.
I was a confuser. I confused them. They don't know.
Okay.
They don't know.
So they didn't know you did that
They don't know.
until you told them that you did that.
Yeah.
Most of them married.
Now all of them are married. All of them are married. And even this one who refused to forgive me is even married with 2 children now. But is not willing to forgive me now. Because her life was about to end by that very time. So it is a hard thing for her to forgive me. So it takes God's grace for her to forgive me.
How is your reaction, like the reaction from your grandfather, maybe after realizing all these things? How is your relationship with him now?
After realizing what?
No, I'm just saying, like, your grandfather, at first he was professing like something good is going to happen to you and you're going to be this kind of person, and then later seeing a negative, life, and then at the end, how is that relationship even now?
Ideally, it's not feeling well, and even up to date. And it was like, Derek, I told you to replace me. I want you to be my name, to be a reverend. Why have you decided to branch to other denomination? I told him that it's not now about denomination, it's all about Christ. So even up to date, his mind is like actually demanding me to go back to the system. But I told him, God has illuminated me already, and I can't go back. So I think this year, that now he told me that, Derek, where you are serving, if you are serving truthfully, serve well. I think that was now the heart also maybe of forgiveness. So was also able to release me from his heart. Yeah, but because he also realized there is a serious transformation in me, and he decided to open his heart for me on January. But I don't know. But what I know is salvation is personal. Even if he doesn't feel good, or doesn't feel good or bad, I mean that's now upon him. But there is nothing now in me that I can hold him, because I know the way that I am going now. So that is, we are in a good time. But I don't know about him.